Welcome to Comics Bazaar, the channel of comics commentary and arcana. This video features X-Force number 22, cover dated May 1993. The cover is all by Greg Capullo. He's inking himself here. It's a pretty nice composition. It is all the lads of X-Force sporting big guns, left to them as a final gift, Cable's legacy. What's really intriguing about this particular cover is the fact that Greg Capullo is inking his pencils with a brush. And you can tell from the distinctive feathering lines here for the sinews of Shatterstar's arm and elsewhere on the particular drawing. But what I really like also in addition to that is the double lighting on Sam's face there. That's really, really nicely done. And the blacks spotted with a nice thick brush line. So very, very nicely done by Capullo. Obviously wanting to ink his own pencils now and then and doing a pretty good job. I always prefer when an artist inks their own work. Let's open this one up to the first page. This is part 3 of a 3-part story. At the end of the previous issue, Grey Malkin exploded, and that's what we're seeing here in these 3 panels. It's really nicely done, showing the parts of the space station breaking up and falling to Earth and burning up as they do. And in the narrative captions, we basically get caught up on what happened in the previous issue. Turn the page, we get a really nice double page spread here. Again, of a big chunk of the space station falling to Earth and then everybody being beamed aboard the Shield shuttle here by Lila Cheney. So the title of the story is Ordnance Weighed in Blood, and the creative team down here, Fabian Nicieza, writer, Greg Capullo, penciler, Kevin Conrad and Harry Candelario, inkers, Chris Eliopoulos, letterer, and Kevin Tinsley, and I'm not sure who the Morin character is, as the colorist. So the fact that we've got 2 inkers and 2 colorists indicates that this issue was produced under a little bit of a deadline crunch, but the artwork, the pencils by Capullo are really consistent, top quality throughout. So a nice double page half spread here of the Shield team facing off still against X-Force, certain members of them anyway, because Sam and Roberto are aboard a chunk of Grey Malkin that is falling to Earth. And it turns out from the dialogue here that Lila took them on a little pit stop before beaming them or teleporting them aboard the shuttle. We're back, incredible, from the space station to a Skrull brothel and back in our own shuttle in minutes. So that's pretty hilarious. Really like the figure posing on the characters here. Richter winding up maybe to use his vibration power. Feral here ready to let rip with her feline ferocity. I like the fact that she's lost her hairstyle there. She no longer has that kind of Wolverine-esque hairstyle, and she's looking pretty vicious in this particular drawing. It's good stuff. So let's continue. And of course, G.W. Bridge, who really has a massive temper problem and is probably on lots of blood pressure medication, draws his gun and points it at X-Force, not at all grateful for the save. He says, "It's over, all right. You punks are under arrest." Nick Fury back there is a bit disgusted. He says, "Real smart move, GW." And Lila here is just not at all perturbed by any of this. She says, "Arrest a mutant teleporter? Yeah, right. Hasta la vista, cabrones," says Feral, and off they go again. Well, that really worked out well, didn't it, Fury, says Iron Man, War Machine. "What happened to that station?" asks Fury. "Gone from my sensors, either obliterated or its remnants are cloaked again." So GW Bridge really unhappy, saying, "What a complete waste. Look what you've done, Cable. Look what you left in your wake. Destruction and disaster. Your final legacy." Well, that's GW Bridge's perspective, but Sam and the other members of X-Force are going to have a different perspective because of what they have as Cable's physical material legacy. Really like this panel here of Nick Fury looking at out a window of the shuttle and seeing something arcing down to the planet, like the reflection of his face there in the window panel as well. And Fury says, "I don't know about legacies, GW, but at the very least, and I do mean the very least, none of Cable's kids got their hands on all that ordnance. Who knows what kind of trouble that they might have ended up causing if they had. And of course, the irony is they've got their hands on the mother lode of Cable's ordnance. But they've got a problem. They are falling down to earth in this escape pod. And Roberto asks Sam, is it my imagination or is it getting hotter in here? Up 10 degrees in the last 5 seconds, Bobby, says Sam. Wonderful. So their problems haven't ended. If Grey Malkin's explosion, says Sam, didn't kill us, then crashing back to Earth will. We'll get through this. I just hope Lila and the rest of X-Force fared as well, and they did. If worst comes to the worst, says Sam, once we hit the stratosphere, I'll trigger my blast field and protect us both. So good to see him, thinking strategically in the field and coming up with a nice little plan there, really kind of proving Cable's faith in Sam as having leadership material. And once again, I really like the double lighting there on Sam's face in the artwork. That's really good. And then Sam asks Grey Malkin's AI computer, the professor, if he's still there. I am still maintaining the descent of the airlock pod, Samuel, though my monitoring program extension terminates with the successful touchdown of the pod. So they're going to lose the professor now as well. Sam isn't happy about that. What are you saying? Once that we land, we're going to lose contact with you? The professor confirms that that's the case. So they're tumbling around here. Really like how that's represented in the art. You can see the escape pod burning up there on re-entry. And Sam saying, he says here, and because of your efforts, Professor, we continue to exist. Seems like you and us, we're always sacrificing each other, don't it? Would not have it any other way, Samuel, says the professor. We've entered safe atmospheric parameters. And he continues and he says, when the changes in the electromagnetic field surrounding Grey Malkin ignited the plasma releases of our downloading process, I permitted the ensuing explosion to create the perception of my destruction while I recloaked the bulk of Grey Malkin and placed the two of you in an escape pod. So Grey Malkin has not entirely exploded. There is a portion of it that remains orbiting the Earth and is cloaked, and so the professor will survive in part on the orbiting space station. And then the scene switches to the North Oregon coastline. That's really nicely done. I like that. I like the rendering of the sea rocks there. And we zoom in on a particular seaside mansion. The owner of this majestic home is something of a loner, declares the narrative captions. Rarely do any people from the local town seem entertained. If one were to see the condition of his current guests, they would know why visitors aren't welcome. So we have manacled there to the sea rock and in danger of being drowned, Boomer, Warpath and Siren. And here is their abductor. And in true villain's form, he utters a monologue. Truly, I'm sorry to deal with you three children in so harsh a manner, he says. I don't believe him. And he continues and says, but I've been assured you members of X-Force are all far too dangerous to incapacitate through more mundane means. So they're getting washed by the waves there. And as I said, in danger of drowning. But they're defiant. So Siren asks him, and who the bloody hell are you? My name is Saul, Siren, he says. I am known among your kind as an external, the longest lived of all mutants, the secret people among the secret people. And you children are a very important means to a justifiable end. Really like that shot, that 3/4 profile down shot on Warpath's defiant face as he says, and what's that external? Or are we supposed to die ignorant? And then he points. Oh, Warpath, far, far better to ask him. And look who it is again. Pops up like the proverbial bad penny. It's Gideon. He hasn't disappeared. Hello, children, he says. Such hardships you endure for the sake of your cause. It is as unto nothing when compared to the lifelong agony of an external. And before you die, flotsam, you will learn what it is like in the fleeting moments left you on this world to suffer immortal anguish. So what on earth does all of that threat mean? Let's continue with the story. We're going to change scene to Camp Verde, a former Apache Native American reservation, specifically of Warpath's tribe. And this is where Lila teleports the trio of Shatterstar, Richter and Ferrell. And I just really like the attention that Capullo pays to Ferrell, her characterization, her body language. And here we can see that her body hair is kind of like sticking out in parts, and she's going to have to groom herself. And he has had her grooming herself throughout his run. And also look how wild her hair is there. It's completely deviated from that kind of Wolverine-esque style that I mentioned earlier. Her hair is all over the place. But really nice anchor image there of them arriving by Lila's teleportation down to the camp. Nice image there of Ferrell bounding away in silhouette. And she's bounding away on Richter's orders to find the others. So off she goes. And Richter decides, so he's acting as leader in the absence of Sam, and he says, let's fire up the comm array we set up earlier. Maybe we'll be able to contact Sam and Berto. I mean, if they're still alive, that is. Really nice top-down shot here as they work away on the comm array. And Ferrell returns saying no signs of the rest of the zoo crew either. So Richter's wondering, what are you talking about? Boomer and the others only went into Phoenix for supplies. They should have been back hours ago. So there's a little mystery there for this portion of X-Force. Lila asks whether they think maybe they had some problems. And Ferrell says, see what I mean? There she is, licking herself, grooming away, getting her hairs back in plumb smoothness. And she says, hey, think they took Boomer with them, didn't they? They probably just killed her and had to dump her body off somewhere. So the rivalry between those two undiminished. Ferrell not at all concerned about the possibility that Boomer might be dead. And then Lila sees we've got something on screen, trouble. Only if you count several incoming bogeys as trouble. So interesting little screen, color hole there as well. And Shatterstar Point C coming in from an atmospheric trajectory. So Ferrell spots it. What is it? Nice anchor image here of Shatterstar and Ferrell bounding off together in order to go and see what it is that is about to land on the reservation. And let's see, Shatterstar observing, curious. That is not a very strategic attack formation. So putting it together that they're not under attack, and the craft touches down. Shatterstar rips into it, and they peep inside. Shatterstar here threatening, come out and face cold death. That's pretty good. Macho dialogue. Really nice spotting of black there on Ferrell's face and body as well. She really looks bestial. Richter there ready to let rip with one of his vibrations. And who does it turn out to be? Except, of course, whom we would guess it is. It is Roberto and Sam as they emerge, a couple of happy space explorers. So people happy to see them, but Sam says later for the reunion gang, we got to find a way to keep the professor's programming online in this pod capsule, but it just doesn't work. But the professor says to them, this is not, he was about to say, this is not the end. No, Samuel, I leave you. His legacy, I leave you Cable's legacy. So Sam really upset because he kind of felt the professor was part of Cable's legacy. You know, obviously what he would have wanted is to question the professor much more about Cable and the references to the future and all of these different things. So upset here. Every time we get close to a chance, we get a chance to learn who he was, why he did this, like why he founded X-Force, we lose him again. So Roberto points out all the various shuttles coming down with the ordnance. Everything Cable owned is ours now. The cargo bay terminals and weapons depot are landing nicely on the reservation. So that's cue for a scene switch here. Department K, headquarters beneath a dilapidated warehouse complex outside of St. John's, Newfoundland. And we have a little mystery on this first page. This is never going to work, says one person. Quiet, says the other. General Clark, sir. Miss Cooper. Is it Val Cooper? They're saluted and they make their way to operations maintenance room. And they break in. And then their cloaking devices reveal that who are they? They are Grizzly and Domino. So we get a nice anchor image of them there as well. And they're there in the records room. And they are getting from Hammer access codes into Department K's computer systems. Domino says the system's cracked. Not good. They've got their info and cable buried so deep it could take a shovel and a while to find it. We don't have a lot of time, Hammer, she says. It's a really nice image there of Grizzly kind of like looking over Domino's shoulder at the computer monitor. It's good stuff. Let's continue with the story. Hammer says he's remote. He's calling them remotely. He says, download it all then. And Domino asks, you sure? Grizz is right, Dom. Or, we don't have time to sort it all out. Dump it all through. My system can handle it, I hope. So she clicks the button. Here it comes. And just at that point, they're interrupted by Weapon Prime. So there's Tiger Strike. We thought he was gone. But Weapon Prime are back. And of course, we're going to learn who on earth these characters are in the next issue, all of them. And then the scene switches to Boston, Massachusetts, which is where Vanessa went after she crawled away from being shot by Deadpool, and he's traced her and tracked her there. And she's there with her friend, and she's adopted the likeness of her friend, and they're just standing outside this fine jewelry store, admiring the items within. But who also is in the store except for Deadpool? It's an interesting use of a screen tone there as well. How tough could it be to crack the alarm in a rinky-dink store like this one? Probably about as tough as it is to crack both your skulls, says Deadpool. Ah, he's not in the store. He's right behind them. That's his reflection in the storefront mirror. So let's see how all of this develops. Deadpool going after his former love, Vanessa. She recognizes him and she parries his thrust at her with the bow staff there. I don't know how you found me, Wade, she says, but you're not turning me into a punching bag again. It's a really nice anchor image there of Deadpool. It looks like he's been caught by Vanessa, kicked by her. Yeah, he lands in a bunch of rubble there. Always got to do it the hard way, don't you? He asks. It's okay by me. Let's make a night out of it. So they're running. Vanessa tells her friend to run faster, and this is horrifying. She is blasted, shot right through the chest and out the back there. And who on earth is this guy? Oh geez, he says, I hope I didn't just shoot Vanessa. So Deadpool recognizes him. Sluggo, haven't seen you in years. What the fig are you doing here? So this walking 90s cliche says, you telling me you ain't missed me, Pool? Ain't you heard about Tolliver? Ain't you heard about the will? Okay, so a new plot, a new subplot developing in the X-Force books. And Deadpool says here, Lordy, all the loons being let out of the bin today. Listen, dude, if you got the wrong one, then you're an idiot. And if you got the right one, then you're dead. So let's turn the page and see how things develop there. Well, we won't, because the scene switches back to the Camp Verde bunker of X-Force, and they're going through all of the vehicles, weapons that emerged from the cargo bay pod and the weapons depot that the professors saw land safely in the reservation. And just as this is happening, Lila, it'll turn out to be Lila in a spacesuit, asks the various members of X-Force, have they seen Sam? So I really like this little sequence here. It's nice storytelling. We've got 4 slim panels at the bottom of the page, and Lila asks each of the members, Bobby, have you seen Sam up there? I think he says. Sam, she asks Shatterstar. Guthrie, uncertain, uninterested too, like that characterization. She asks Richter, you seen Sam? Sammy, I thought he was with you, he says. And then Farrell, I shouldn't even bother, huh? And she says to her, found a food synthesizer, makes milkshakes too. That's really nice. That's good stuff. And there is Sam. He's atop this particular hill, it looks like, surveying the reservation at sunset. And he asks Lila, you sure? You still sure you want to go? I like the detail of her guitar case there slung around her back. And she says, positive. You know I'm not one for hanging around too long. Besides, I'm on the lam now. So Sam asks her, are you worried about S.H.I.E.L.D.? No, I couldn't care less, she responds, about S.H.I.E.L.D. It's my record company that's after my bouncing behind. You got any idea how much money my last album lost them? That's pretty funny. You have what you wanted, Sam. Why are you so sad? He says, I don't know. I was just wondering, is this all there is? And that's been Sam's refrain over the last couple of issues. And he says there as well, after everything we went through with him, this is all he left us. And this kind of gives us our cover scene. Everybody checking out like the huge guns that Cable's left them as his legacy. It's pretty funny stuff on one level. And Lila says to Sam, a little bit of wisdom. Think about it, Sam. In a way, maybe, isn't that all you asked for? And that's an interesting and final message of hers before she teleports to some other galaxy off on her adventures. And at this point, Richter calls, like the comma ray has been set up, remember? He says, yo, Sam, get down here. So everybody comes down. Of course, the mystery remains, where is Boomer? Where is Warpath? Where is Siren? And Roberto says to Sam, Sam, it isn't good. Show me. So now we have Saul. And he is making an announcement to X-Force. Samuel Guthrie, novitiate to the infinite roots of the High Lord tree, greetings, because it's been revealed that Cannonball is an external also. I'm known as Saul, I'm an external. There's a possibility that you may contain within your genetic structure something my people need, because they've been dying. And of course that doesn't make any sense. So, you know, we've got another plot starting up now in relation to Sam, which works out very well for all concerned. Guthrie, says Gideon as he shows himself, because we have something you need, your friends. So it's going to be a hostage exchange. Sam for the trio of Warpath, Boom Boom, and Siren. Looks like Siren's top there was pretty badly ripped, just covering her modesty there with her hair. And Saul finishes off and says, I believe you know, Gideon, young Guthrie, he has no fondness for you nor your teammates. Give yourself to us, Samuel, or they will die most horribly. So next, does Sam break a promise, or does X-Force break some heads? My bet is that X-Force are going to break some heads. Maybe neither, maybe both. See you in 30. And the letters here regarding issue number 19, lots and lots of praise, in particular for the Capullo Candelario artwork and the Nicieza storyline. Yeah, number 19 is a really standout issue. So there you go. I do hope that you enjoyed this review and commentary on X-Force number 22. Love that cover. It's great stuff. Big reminder as well that X-Force primarily read by teenage boys. Like, this is the teenage boys fantasy of 1993. Big guns, tough looking lads. There you go. Let me know your thoughts on this issue in the comment section to the video. If you enjoyed my review and commentary, please like the video on YouTube and consider sharing it. It really does help the channel. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more content like this.